So let's switch gears, talk a little movie stuff. Got a movie you're working on, coming out with?
Well, we have. That's very optimistic.
That's Hollywood, Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah. Hey, come on, talk to me. I'll make it happen.
The novel that I co-wrote a couple years ago with Chris Golden, Joe Golem and the Drowning City, has been optioned with Alex Proyas attached, which. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of The Crow, but especially Dark City.
Yeah, Dark City.
So I couldn't be more thrilled and amazed that he wanted to do this movie. So I hope it happens.
Especially someone who's like so close, almost stylistically, with your art. Like I feel like there's a real.
It was funny. I mean, I spoke to him once, and while we were talking, I did at one point say, "Yeah, this book is almost entirely made of stuff that you like. Obviously, you like because, it's definitely in his."
Wheelhouse?
In his wheelhouse, which is a term I don't like, but it does seem
no
appropriate.
one likes that, but it's when you say it's in his, it's sort of like barn.
I'm hoping that that means it'll get made. But Hollywood is Hollywood, and there's so many hoops to jump through, and we'll see.
At what point in the process? Sorry to cut you off, but what in the process is he working on?
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I know that I had a conversation with him. Chris Golden and I had a conference call with him a couple months ago. But where he is, I mean, I know the papers are all signed, and I know he's planning, or at least last time I heard, he was planning to write the script. So probably he's working on the script.
Some pages somewhere.
But it's not like when Del Toro and I worked together on Hellboy. Guillermo kept me abreast every day on where he was, and here's the second version of the script, and here's the third version of the script, and I don't know if at some point Alec would want me involved or would want me to see something, but right now he seemed very content to go and do his thing, and I was very content to say, cool, go do your thing, and let me know when it's done, and I'd love to see it.
I'll come to the premiere.
Yes, I'd be very happy to.
In case people don't know, what is the story? What's the...
There's a funny history to it, actually, because when I first signed the option deal for Hellboy, the first thing that went through my mind... Well, first off, I knew they were never going to make a movie. But that part of my brain said, but what if they do? And what if it makes Howard the Duck look like Citizen Kane? I had just gotten going on Hellboy. I had all these things I wanted to do with Hellboy, and I thought, oh, crap. If somebody actually makes a movie and it's so awful and there's so much stink on Hellboy that I can't continue doing the comic, what do I do? Yeah. So I made up another character. I literally went home, said, I need a lifeboat character. I need another character where I can take everything I was planning to do with Hellboy and scoot it over into this other character.
That's really funny.
And then, the movie didn't destroy Hellboy. And so this character has been sitting off to the side for years. And I co-wrote another novel with Chris Golden, Baltimore, or The Steadfast Tin Soldier and the Vampire. Mm-hmm. So after that was done, and that went over real well, and we had a good time doing it, Chris said, well, what about that Joe Golem thing that you're clearly never going to get around to doing as a comic?
Yeah.
So, we did the same thing.
Nice.
And story-wise, I mean, it is a kind of a cult detective character who isn't from hell, but he does have supernatural origins, and it's not really set in our version of the world. It's sort of a, it's a version of the world where New York City is partially submerged. Okay. So I love the image of New York City as Venice.
Yeah.
But I actually was going to do it as a comic. I was about to start working on it as a comic for Dark Horse when 9/11 happened. I was living here in New York. I was looking out my window and saying, I'm going to flood this street. I'm going to do this angle. I was walking around New York, and I had all my things that I was going to do. And then 9/11 happened. I said, I just don't feel like doing a book about a partially ruined New York City. Right. So I put it back on the shelf, and that's where it stayed until Chris and I decided to do the book.
Oh, wow. What a wild story. Yeah. Have you seen Guillermo? He's here at the...
I haven't seen him in years. I haven't seen him since I went out to New Zealand and worked with him when he was doing The Hobbit. So I haven't seen him since then. So I'm hoping to catch up with him this weekend.
You were working with him on The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's coming out soon.
Yeah, but again, that was Guillermo's version of The Hobbit. to the best of my understanding, what Peter Jackson did when Peter took over The Hobbit is completely different, at least visually. So the little bit of design work I did, I assume went out, the window.
Well, keep your eye on the screen when it comes out. Maybe you'll spot.
Yeah, I plan to watch it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Really exciting stuff going on.